Metal Jesus here, and I am back. Well, I'm not really back, because this isn't even my channel. What the hell am I doing here?
You're introducing the video. You're doing great. Keep going. Okay.
Metal Jesus here, and see, not only you guys, I'm trying to find my rhythm here. I say the same damn thing every week.
I liked it. So gaming memories.
It's so close, because I'm in my own game room, so I'm like,
it's amazing, actually.
Who are these strangers?
We're here.
Yes.
We're here in your game room.
So, I'm the Metal Jesus.
I am the Wood.
And I am Super Derek.
The Super Derek.
The Super Derek.
And that's right. And today we're going to talk about gaming memories.
We are.
And you know what? I want to say memories. Is that wrong?
Memories? You can say memories.
Ah, the very first one was so soft.
That's going to be a different set of thumbnails, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a
You'll
whole
probably get a ton of views, let's be honest.
So should we just cut to your intro now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
and we're back.
So this is a very impromptu video, but every person that I've met, I've done a gaming memories video with so far, so I'm going to do one with Metal Jesus, and my good friend Derek, who I'm staying with at the moment, is going to do one as well. Now, I've sprung this on them really suddenly, so I'm going to give them time to think about what they're going to talk about. But a story I've been meaning to tell for a while. I have a good friend called Michael Ciola. And back in the day, growing up in high school, I used to do sleepovers at his house all the time. He came to my house for sleepovers all the time. And this is where I start to sound really young, because at our high school sleepovers, we used to play Xbox 360. Very young.
What?
and like the last 11 year 12, we did sleepovers really late. Like we were like 17, 18. And a lot of games we actually decided we'd play straight through. So we'd start a game and we wouldn't stop until we finished it. We might have a food break or something, but we wouldn't leave the house. And the first game we'd done that with was when he first got SmackDown vs. Raw. I think it was either 2008 or 2009. We loved the SmackDown games. And we started playing this game at his house, and they had the General Manager mode, where you take it in turns. He tries to manage, I think, Raw. I try to manage SmackDown, and we try and do all these match types that we think will keep the crowd interested and the general audience interested, and then wrestle the matches. We played that game for, I think it got to about 10 or 11 hours straight into the night that we burnt out the disc. It was the first time I'd ever burnt out a 360 disc, and he had to go back to the store the next day and get it swapped over. And the other game we done that with but didn't burn out the disc is Resident Evil 5. We sat down at my house and finished Resident Evil 5 in one sitting. We stayed up all night, and the most frustrating part was the very end. Have you guys finished Resident Evil 5?
No.
The very end, trying to beat Wesker and smashing that boulder, and like Chris full on smashes this boulder and I think like shoulder thrusts it, but trying to beat that boss, I actually still can't remember how to do it. And every time I get to it, I forget how to do it. We spent about 3 hours trying to beat him, and we were just tired. Our eyes were bloodshot. We were sweating. Our fingers were bleeding. But it was fun.
Is it like a repressed memory of yours?
It's one of our favourite memories of it. I remember that time we finished Resident Evil 5 in one sitting. I actually finished it with Kane as well twice. I finished that game.
So you like Resident Evil? Is it a good game? Or?
I really like the Resident Evil series. I talked about that very recently, but Resident Evil 5 is my favourite, purely because there isn't many good co-op games. There are very, very few good co-op games coming out these days, obviously, not the old days. It's plenty in the old days. But for the 360, there's only a handful, and that's probably my favourite one. It's a great co-op experience.
That's cool.
Who's next?
How about you?
Alright, well, yeah, I actually grew up with without a Super Nintendo.
So did I.
True. Super Derek had no Super Nintendo.
That doesn't make sense.
My best friend did, though. And so, in order to play Super Nintendo, which I loved, I had to go over to his place. And we would always play a bunch of Jalico beat-em-ups games, like Rival Turf, and, well, there's like a trilogy, then we used to just play all of them all the time. We would have this ritual where we'd just try to go through and, well, he would fall asleep because he was a wimp, and then I'd wake up early the next morning and play Super Mario World. So that's kind of how co-op gaming always went for me. You just play until he got tired. And,
yeah, that's all you do. You keep playing until someone gives up.
But yeah, you just got to get that Super Nintendo fix. Once you're hooked, you just, you know.
Now you have a Super Nintendo now, I hope.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
That was one of the first things I had to most definitely get once I started collecting.
That is one of the amazing things about collecting, don't you think? Is that you get all the things as an adult that you couldn't get as a kid, right? Yeah. You know, like all this stuff around me right here. And I didn't even have any of it. You know what I mean? It's like
you start appreciating things you couldn't appreciate in the past either.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely.
What about yourself?
Well, for me, one of my first gaming video memories would be you've seen those pictures online. I know you're young, but when you search for like,
I'm not that young.
But yes, you are. If you're remembering the 360, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember way back when the console ago.
So
remember way back when the PlayStation 4 came out.
Yeah, exactly. Then you'll feel old.
Yeah, I will.
No, you know how when you Google like Google Images and you're looking for like gaming in the 70s and 80s, and it'll have like these two kids sitting in front of like a CRT that you click, you know, and you know, sitting cross-legged with an Atari 2600. That was me and my cousin. My cousin Jared sitting down cross-legged on a Saturday morning with an Atari joystick in her hand, one button. Yes, it's called a joystick, not a controller, and just surrounded by Atari 2600 cartridges.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big fan of the Atari 2600. We did have this conversation.
We did.
But here's the thing: is that if you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, it was such an amazing time to sort of, you know, waddle out there, sit your ass down in front of the TV, and then just play simple games, you know.
Hey, and two things here. One, for that very reason, that's why I appreciate Atari and what it done for the gaming industry. And two, I was still alive in the 90s. I grew up, I was actually born in 1990, so I grew up, sat on the floor with my brother playing the NES with NES carts all around us, switching out the NES carts. I skipped SNES because I was so into my NES that when I was given a SNES for, like, when it came out in 95, 96, because someone helped me out here because I don't actually know.
I never remember.
Anyway, I actually got one for Christmas and I didn't want it. I think we had it for about a year. I didn't get any other games on it. I had Mega Man X, and I had Donkey Kong Country, and I didn't play either of them. And then we didn't get any other games because I just played NES. It's NES. I couldn't get over it, and then I ended up getting over it and getting the 64. But I had those memories with my brother. I had the Blades of Steel memories with my brother. One of
my favorite specific memories about playing the Atari 2600, and it was like this moment of you know. Do you remember Decathlon? Okay, so it's this like really simple game where you basically had to wiggle the joystick back and forth as your little dude sort of ran. Yeah, like this, right? It was ridiculous even at the time. It basically broke controllers. But my cousin and I figured out that if you take something really heavy like a screwdriver and jam it in through the top of the Atari joystick, it would hold it, and then you could hold the base like this, and it was very heavy on that end, and you could actually wiggle very fast, and literally it broke the game. The power bar went like this. It was awesome, right? So we were hacking the game. Memory. That was a pretty cool memory.
Speaking of being controller breakers, I'm pretty sure that 90% of 64 controllers are broken because of Mario parties.
Yeah, I've heard that.
If that game, if that wasn't a thing, then we would never be looking for good 64 controllers because they'd all be good.
Yeah.
And actually, 64 controllers are kind of expensive now. Have you noticed that? Like, you try to go to buy them. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's it. That's some gaming memories for you guys. Thank you so much for letting us in your home and filming this video with us. And
I'm going to be patting you down as you leave, so just be aware. And it's not necessarily for video games. It's just because I can. So
just turn around for a second.
Oh, okay. Is this a reach around?
He's been traveling.
No, just don't look.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But thank you.
No, it's been fun hanging out with you guys today.
It's been fun. We went game hunting.
We did. We found some stuff.
How do you end your videos? See, when you introduce these videos.
Well, I basically thank people for subscribing and watching my videos, and you know, if you want to like it, great. If you want to thumb us down, please don't.
So thumbs up for Metal Jesus.
Yes.
And comment for Super Derek. Tell us some of your favorite co-op gaming memories, assuming that was the theme of this video. And subscribe if you haven't already.
All right.
And that's all. Yeah, you can turn the camera off now. Bye.